Okay, so you're thinking of buying a home. You're probably thinking to yourself, how much home can I afford? So today I've got Jeff.Loveland with Guaranteed Rate here with me, and we're going to talk about purchasing power. How much home can you buy with your income, debt, credit score, etc. So let's start with just a baseline.
Sure. So I think I get a lot of questions asked, what can I afford? I make X amount, right? And so for easy math, we ran the numbers on if you had a $60,000 salary, right? And
so you're making $60,000 a year.
Right. So we'll go and just assume you have, let's say, 700 credit score for right now, right? And that's just a baseline because up, down, those change things.
700 is a pretty good median.
Yeah,
credit score.
Exactly. So running the numbers, if you have no debt, you can essentially afford about a $450,000 loan amount. Not purchase price, but loan amount. So if you were looking at that, you're somewhere in the neighborhood of $550 or so, $565 purchase price if you were putting 20% down. There's certain things, and that includes your taxes and insurance that go into your payment.
So that includes all that. Okay.
Yeah, so that includes all of that. And so basically, based on what's called your debt to income ratio, so that's your gross income. So if we're doing a $60,000 salary, it's $5,000 a month, right?
Okay.
And then let's just assume you have zero other debt, no car payments, no student loans, any of that kind of stuff yet, just so we have a nice number to back into here. That would allow you about a $450,000 loan amount. Once again, you would, if you were putting down $125,000, that'd be 20% down. You wouldn't have any PMI, but you would have your property taxes and your homeowner's insurance. And that's going to vary from the type of house, the age of house, where it's located. All of those things kind of affect it. But at least you have a good baseline on what you can afford at that point. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay. That's good to know. Let's say I have a car payment. How does that affect my buying power?
It reduces it, unfortunately, right? So it's all additional.
It looks
funds.
So cool in that car, though.
Yeah, I know. So let's just say, for ease of math here, we have a $500 car payment. Anymore, that's not crazy to think about.
That seems realistic.
Yeah. So a $500 monthly car payment would equate roughly about $90 to $100,000 in purchase power reduction. So if we're at a $450,000 purchase price, loan amount, we would have to reduce it down to about $350 if you have a $500 a month car payment.
And where are you getting that number? So it's the $60,000, I'm making $5,000 a month, right? Mm-hmm. So you're deducting the $500?
So I'm deducting. What I'm doing is I'm taking what your mortgage amount, your monthly mortgage payment would be, and adding on any debts. If you have, let's say, for example, a car payment, right? That is your monthly obligation. So I add your total monthly obligations, your new housing payment, in this example, your car payment, and then I am dividing that out with the $5,000 a month, your gross income monthly, if that makes sense. So let's say, for example, you're making, or you have a $500 car payment plus a, let's say, $2,000 mortgage payment. That doesn't match up to what we're talking about here, but just for easy math, you would have $2,000 plus $500 would be a $2,500. So that would literally be 50% debt to income ratio, right? So which is where we come at. So just that's exactly how we would come to that.
Gotcha. Okay. And then how does that debt to income ratio work? Is there like any hard, fast rules for somebody if they're trying to figure it out? And they're
Sure.
I mean, obviously the best way to do it is to contact someone like Jeff here, fill out an application, find out, and then start tweaking things to qualify for whatever home you might want to buy.
Right.
I would start ahead of time if I were you. That way you don't get excited about it and then you realize you got to step back for a few months. If you think you're going to buy in the next couple months, just reach out to someone. But are there any hard, fast rules?
Yeah, I use, and these vary when rates go up or down, but typically I use every $50 of debt accumulated on a monthly basis is about $10,000 in purchase power, right? Really? So let's say, for example, you were pre-approved for $500,000 loan amount, right?
Love the $500,000 home. We've been using that very much here on the show.
Exactly. So let's say that's what you were qualified for, but that was the max of your budget. That's the tip top. You can't go a cent over that, right?
Okay.
And then let's say you go and you're having to get, what's a good example? Let's say you're having to co-sign for a brother of yours on a car, right? And he needs you to co-sign, and let's say it's only $250, right? But that would literally reduce what you can qualify down another $50,000. So you go from that $500,000 mark down to $450,000. So if people are thinking of that, even if you're already pre-approved, this is a good concept to have, because if you have to get a debt that's assigned to your on a monthly basis, not just by $1,000 cash to rebuild a furnace or whatever the case may be, right, or fix something, but if you're going to get some sort of debt, credit card debt, student loan payment, any of that stuff, it's all going to accumulate in your debt to income ratio and affect what you can qualify for. So that's a good thing. The other thing is, let's say they're pre-approved for $500,000 and you're out showing them houses, right?
Yeah.
Which you're just made to do, so it's perfect. Now, let's say you have a borrower that has been looking at single family houses, right,
okay,
for the last month. And maybe they decide it's not for them and they don't want to do the yard work. So they decide to do a condo.
It happens.
Yeah. They decide, hey, I want to do a condo. I want to look at a condo as well. So condos have a homeowners association fee, an HOA fee as we call it, right? And the same principle applies. If there's a $50 condo fee or a $100 condo fee, which HOA fee once again, that needs to be reduced to what their overall purchase power is.
I have a buyer that we're going through that right now. He's looking for a condo, and depending on the HOA, we're either getting within our range or we're getting just slightly bumped out.
Right.
So
right.
It is something to consider as well too. Now, how do credit card debt, how does that work as well? Is it basically the same thing? I mean, let's give a couple examples.
Yeah, for sure. Minimum payment is all we need, right? That's all we go off of. So and if you look at your normal credit card payment, they love to keep you swimming in debt, right? So they're only going to charge you about $25.
How do they make money though?
Yeah,
you pay it off.
Yeah, exactly. So they want you to just pay that minimum amount, right? $25 a month, even though you owe $2,000.
Get that TV.
Right.
You deserve it. Okay.
That's right. That's what they want you to do. And so, let's say, for example, you spend $1,000 on a credit card, and the minimum monthly payment is $25 a month or $50 a month, whatever the case may be.
Okay.
Let's say it's $25 a month. Well, for our purposes, that has now reduced you down about $5,000 in what you can afford.
Because every $50 is about $10,000.
Right. So we've just cut that in half. Exactly.
So it's based off the minimum payment. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. Student debt, I would imagine, is the same thing. Whatever your monthly payment is.
Right. Yep. And student debt is, I think we'll do another video on that one to dig in. But basically, whatever your minimum payment is, there's some caveats if you're in forbearance or you're not in repayment. There's some caveats to that, and we'll discuss that in that other video. But whatever your minimum payment is, that affects what your overall purchasability is.
Okay. Well, I think we've covered everything. Let me just take a second to reflect.
Sure.
There's a lot of information. Yeah. Yeah, and that's it. So, I can't think of any other questions right now for you, just off the top of my head. But if you have any questions about that, please reach out to Jeff Loveland here, Guaranteed Rate. If you have any questions about purchasing a home here in Denver, hey, reach out to me. Our info will be down below. Thanks.